A fully grown Cape buffalo has been documented chasing a lioness for over 400 meters after she broke off an attack. Not fleeing, chasing, pursuing the predator that came to hunt it, driving it across the open savanna until the lioness abandoned the effort entirely and disappeared into the grass. This is not unusual behavior for a Cape buffalo. This is Tuesday, and it raises a question that changes everything you think you know about the predator-prey relationship on the African savanna. Because if the prey is actively hunting the hunter back, what exactly is the power dynamic here? The answer is more complicated, and far more extraordinary, than anything you have been told before. Start with the numbers, because the numbers alone are shocking. A fully grown male Cape buffalo stands nearly 1.5 meters at the shoulder and weighs between 700 and 900 kilograms. A fully grown male lion weighs between 180 and 220 kilograms. That means the buffalo outweighs its primary predator by a factor of 4 to 1 at minimum. And yet lions target Cape buffalo regularly, deliberately, repeatedly, as a primary food source across much of sub-Saharan Africa. Understanding why requires going deep into the biomechanics of both animals. And what you find there dismantles almost every assumption the standard wildlife documentary leaves in place. The Cape buffalo's skeletal structure is built around one biological priority: absorbing and delivering impact. The cervical vertebrae, the bones forming the neck, are dramatically thicker and more densely mineralized than in any comparable bovine species. This is not incidental. The neck is the primary target for every large predator the buffalo faces, and evolution has armored it accordingly. The bone density in a mature buffalo's skull and boss, the fused horn structure sitting across the top of the head, is so extreme that a direct strike from a lion's paw, generating force sufficient to break a zebra's spine, registers as negligible against it. The boss itself deserves specific attention because most descriptions understate what it actually is. In a mature bull, the horns fuse at the base into a continuous plate of hardened keratin and bone that covers the entire top of the skull. This is not two horns growing close together. This is a single unified shield, grown over years, capable of absorbing impacts that would fracture the skulls of almost any other animal of comparable size. Underneath that shield, the skull bone itself is thicker than the width of a lion's canine tooth. A direct bite to the top of a buffalo's head accomplishes almost nothing. The horns themselves sweep outward and curve upward to sharp points that, in a large bull, can reach a tip-to-tip span exceeding 1 meter. The strike delivered by a buffalo toss, a rapid upward motion of the head using the full momentum of a 900-kilogram frame, generates force that has been documented launching adult lions several meters into the air. These are not glancing blows. Lions have been killed outright by single horn strikes, their ribcages penetrated, internal organs destroyed by the impact of an animal more than 4 times their mass swinging a biological weapon at the end of a neck built like structural steel. And yet the lion keeps hunting them. Which means the lion has developed something equally extraordinary in response. The African lion's forelimb is one of the most mechanically complex structures in the large predator world. The shoulder musculature, specifically the infraspinatus and supraspinatus muscles anchoring the foreleg to the body, generates a downward strike force that biomechanical studies estimate exceeds the equivalent of several times the lion's own body weight concentrated into the point of contact. This is the force required to physically collapse the hindquarters of a running buffalo, to interrupt the locomotive system of an animal that outweighs the attacker by 400 kilograms or more. Lions targeting buffalo don't aim for the neck first. They aim for the hindquarters. Specifically, they attempt to seize the tail or the rear leg during a chase, using body weight and grip to destabilize the buffalo's balance. Once a buffalo stumbles, even briefly, the coalition repositions. Multiple lions pile onto the back and neck simultaneously, attempting to drag the animal's head down. A buffalo with its head forced to ground level loses the mechanical advantage of its horns almost entirely. This is the only reliable killing position, and reaching it against a healthy adult bull requires coordinated effort from multiple animals over an extended period. This is where you are watching Apex Truth do what most wildlife channels never attempt: go into the mechanics of what actually happens during these encounters instead of simply describing the outcome. The average successful lion hunt on a Cape buffalo takes between 4 and 17 minutes of sustained physical engagement after contact is made. Not the chase, the engagement. 4 to 17 minutes of multiple lions maintaining grip on an animal that is actively attempting to crush, gore, and dislodge them simultaneously, while the buffalo vocalizes loudly enough to be heard at significant distances across open terrain. That vocalization is not incidental. It is a biological signal, and what responds to it changes the entire equation. Cape buffalo herds operate under a collective defense protocol that has no real parallel among African prey animals. When distress calls are detected, nearby herd members do not flee. They return. Documented observations show herds of several hundred animals reversing direction entirely and moving toward the source of the distress calls. Lions in the middle of a successful kill have been forced to abandon a downed buffalo, sometimes a buffalo already in the suffocation hold, because the returning herd made continuation of the attack impossible. Individual bulls within the returning herd have been observed using their horns to physically lever lions off a downed herd member, inserting their boss between the lion's body and the ground and lifting. This is active rescue behavior, coordinated, deliberate, executed at significant personal risk to the rescuing animals. And it works often enough that lions have learned to factor herd proximity into their target selection, deliberately cutting isolated individuals away from the main group before initiating contact, specifically to prevent this response. The behavioral psychology of the Cape buffalo in conflict is genuinely unlike any other prey animal in Africa. Most large herbivores operate under a flight threshold, a point at which the perceived risk triggers full retreat regardless of the status of other herd members. Cape buffalo have a different threshold entirely. Old bulls in particular, animals past breeding age that have separated from the main herd into small bachelor groups called Dagga boys, will actively confront lions that enter their vicinity without any provocation whatsoever. These animals have spent decades surviving lion attacks. They are not afraid. They have assessed the threat and made a different calculation than virtually any other prey animal on the continent. There are documented cases of Dagga boy buffalo pursuing and killing lions that were not actively hunting them. Not defending against an attack. Initiating one. A buffalo that detects lions in its territory moving toward them rather than away. This behavior exists. It is documented, and it represents something that almost no prey animal anywhere on Earth demonstrates with any consistency. The lion has its own psychology in response. Pride members that have experienced serious injury during buffalo hunts, and the injury rate is significantly higher during buffalo hunts than during any other prey type, show measurably altered behavior in subsequent encounters with the species. Hesitation increases. Coalition size preference increases. Target selection shifts toward younger, isolated individuals rather than mature bulls. The lion learns from negative encounters with this animal in a way that directly modifies future hunting behavior. Both animals have shaped each other. That is the part that the standard predator-prey framework completely misses. This is not a lion that hunts a buffalo. This is two species that have spent tens of thousands of years in direct, violent biological negotiation, each one forcing the other to become more dangerous, more intelligent, more physically capable in direct response to the other's existence. The lion's coalition hunting strategy is partially a response to the buffalo's defensive capability. The buffalo's boss and collective defense behavior is partially a response to the lion's coordinated attack strategy. They built each other, in the most brutal laboratory the natural world has ever run, across millions of individual encounters. These two animals have been each other's most significant evolutionary pressure. The savannah did not produce a perfect predator and a helpless prey animal. It produced two apex-level organisms locked in a rivalry so ancient and so evenly matched that neither side has managed to resolve it in their favor across the entire span of their coexistence. The lion does not always win. The buffalo does not always survive. What remains is something rarer and more interesting than a simple outcome: a balance, held in place by the equal and opposing force of two animals that have never stopped pushing against each other. This is apex truth. If this changed how you see the relationship between predator and prey, subscribe and stay with us, because what we have lined up next makes this rivalry look simple,